I thought I'd share a little bit about my setup here, since many of you might be curious how I'm packed so light on a 4-day backpacking trip. Let's get into it. All right, so starting off with the bike I'm riding, this is a road bike. This is a Cannondale CAD 13. I think first I'll walk through just the components on the bicycle. My group set is a SRAM Rival Axis group set, and it's great. It's a little controversial bike packing with an electronic group set because if you run out of batteries, you're kind of hosed. But I found the batteries last a really long time, and I carry one extra little battery in my bag, and then I carry the charger, so I can just charge them up when I'm sleeping and then not worry about running out of battery. I've got just kind of a standard road gearing. I think I've got a 1034 cassette in the back, and then I've got the standard 3346 front gearing. We've got the wheels, which I opted for like a much wider kind of cyclocross or gravel wheel, and that way I could put these big kind of fat tires on there. I think these are 32C gravel tires, but they just barely fit in there. And I wanted to make sure I had wide tires because it absorbs a lot of the impact from the road and just gives you a lot more confidence when the bike is loaded with stuff and really heavy. So that was a really important upgrade for this trip. I also put these wider handlebars on my bike. Usually I have like very narrow handlebars for racing. Having that extra wideness gives you more stability. That's the bike. Let's get into the gear. I got 2 bottles. I've got this bag, which I got on Amazon. It was pretty cheap. It's doing the trick just fine. I've got a meat stick strapped to the bottom. Very important. I've also got this little top tube bag, and I've got this holy grail, the Tailfin Aero Pack, which is pretty expensive, but I got the one that's made out of metal, and it's really nice because it just clips onto your bike, so it's easy to take on and off. And it's got a lot of space, so pretty much everything is in there. All the stuff up front is just for food, and then all my camping stuff is in the back, and I'll show you that later. My computer, which is a Garmin Edge 530, I think. It's doing the trick just fine. Good computer. And then I've got this little kind of like mount, so I can have the computer and this headlight, Magic Shine RN 1200, and what's great about it is it also acts as an extra battery pack. Because I'm mostly riding during the day, I actually don't use this much, and so I can use it if I run out of battery on my phone, which is definitely going to happen because I'm filming all this footage. Then on the back, I've got these like really cheap kind of clip-on blinky lights for the road, so I can be seen by cars if it's kind of gray out. I figure I'll start off talking about what I'm wearing. So I'm wearing bib shorts, and I really like these ones for bike packing because they have pockets on the side, so you like ride with my phone in the pocket, and I like put all my wrappers for all my snacks in the other pocket so I can throw them out easily. It's also got pockets in the back, which is nice because I don't have to wear like a cycling jersey. I can just stuff any like snacks or anything in the back, and just wear a kind of a normal shirt, which I think is a lot more comfortable, and you look a little more normal. I'm wearing gloves most of the time with like nice cushioned padding because it's really good to prevent like carpal tunnel or like any problems that you get from like holding the handlebars for a long time. So I really recommend wearing gloves. Wearing some wool socks so my feet don't get cold, and I'm wearing mountain biking shoes. Actually, these are from Lake Cycling. I really like Lake shoes. They make good shoes. The reason I'm wearing mountain biking shoes instead of road cycling shoes is mountain biking shoes are much easier to walk around in, and you don't look like a silly duck when you're walking around, which is useful because you're often like walking from your campsite to the bathroom, or you're walking into a store or something. Yeah, so that's all the stuff I'm wearing, and then I'll show you all the other clothes that I have packed as well. Okay, so this is all the clothes that I keep in my bag. I've got an extra pair of socks, which I usually wear to bed. I have long underwear, which is really comfortable to sleep in a sleeping bag with. So I pretty much only wear these at camp, and it's nice to keep them really clean because your cycling clothes get really gross, and it's nice to have like nice clean underwear to sleep with. This base layer wool shirt from Smart Wool keeps me really warm, especially if it's cold at the campsite. I also try to keep this really clean, and I wear that also just at camp. I have these shorts, just a really lightweight pair of shorts that I can use to like look normal and walk into a store or walk around a campsite if it's hot out, whatever. I have a mid layer, which is this maybe high 40s at night, and I wanted to be as lightweight as possible. And so what I've done is I've decided to use a bivvy instead of a tent. And if you don't know what a bivvy is, it's basically just a waterproof bag that you sleep in. It has a lot of benefits, which is that it's really small. Bivvies also offer like great protection from the cold. Because you're sleeping just in a waterproof bag, you often get really warm in there actually. And that means you don't need to bring a very warm sleeping bag. So what I have here is like a really cheap sleeping bag. It's down, so it packs really small, but it's not rated for particularly cold temperatures. This bag's, probably rated for like, 45 degrees or so, but in combination with the bivvy, it keeps me pretty warm. On the right here, what I have is my bivvy. I have my sleeping pad rolled up with it, and then I have the whole thing in this extra bag, and this bag is also the inflator for the air mattress. Okay, so here's the bivvy. It's rolled up, and inside the bivvy, I've got my sleeping pad, which is just a Thermarest, like inflatable sleeping pad. And then I've also got this fancy thing, which is kind of more of a luxury, but I find it helps me sleep, which is a pillow. It's this blue like pillowcase, and then it's got inflatable like little pillow bag that you just inflate with your mouth, and then you have a nice pillow to sleep on. And then I'll usually like inflate the pillow, and then I'll like jam this fluffy thing on top of it, so it adds like a nice cushioning layer. And that's pretty much my sleep setup. Bivvy bag, sleeping pad, my pillow thing, sleeping bag, and that's it. Next up, let's talk about nutrition. It's the single most important thing when doing a bikepacking trip. You're going to be out there for 8, maybe 10, maybe 12 hours a day exercising, and you really need fuel for that. I'm going to walk you through basically everything I bring on my bicycle. There's going to be other food that I eat throughout the day while I'm riding, but it's mostly going to be stopping at a cafe for a pastry, or stopping at maybe a place for dinner or a place for lunch. And I'll probably vary the amount that I actually carry on my bike based on how many stops I'm going to take to refuel. And so it's important to know like what route you're going to be doing. That way you can know, oh, today I'll be stopping for lunch. I won't need to pack as many snacks, for example. So in the morning, I always start the morning with oatmeal. Makes my brain feel good, and it's packed with carbs. Good to start a day. I usually eat 2 packets of oatmeal in the morning. After that first meal, I get on my bike and I start riding. And the single most important thing to be eating while you're riding is simple sugars and carbs, and a lot more than you think you should. I carry 3 bottles while I'm riding, which adds up to about maybe, almost 3 liters of water, maybe a little more. And that'll also vary depending on how far I'm going, and if I'm doing a shorter stretch and I know that there's going to be a place to fill water, I won't fill as much. But I try to get almost half of my calories while I'm riding in the form of liquid carbs. I usually mix in some sort of high carbohydrate mix, like these or this, into my water, or sometimes I make it at home. You can buy like a bulk thing of maltodextrin and you can do it at home. That's good because it usually provides you about 50 to 100 grams of carbohydrates per bottle of water. That's a good place to start. I think I'd recommend kind of while you're riding, aiming for between 50 and 100 grams of carbs per hour in general. And so I think one of these liquid carbs, supplementing that with some solid food, is the way to achieve that. And it's important to like keep eating even before you feel hungry, because your body needs a lot more energy than you think you do. So honestly, like, you should feel like you're at the verge of throwing up the whole time, and that's how you know you're doing a good job. So in addition to liquid carbs, I also have some electrolytes. If I'm sweating a lot or it's a really hot day, I'll add some electrolytes to my bottle. And then I've got a bunch of solid snacks that I like too. Rice Krispie treats are great. Meat sticks are great. Candy is also fine, like things you can find at a gas station. Candy's actually really good because it's just mostly simple sugars and carbs. And then I've got a little like more type of gummies, kind of granola bar, and I got these kind of more hearty kind of meal type granola bars, which I also really like. And yeah, I'll basically eat a combination of a lot of sugar in my bottle and a lot of snacks while I'm riding, and that gives me the sustained energy I need during the day. And then when I get to my campsite at the end of the day, it's important to start changing what you eat. So instead of eating those simple sugars and carbs, starting to eat higher protein and higher fat. And so sometimes you can do like a kind of protein shake type recovery mix, or like more solid food. Ideally, you stop at a restaurant, get like a real meal, but you could also make some camp food like this and yeah, that's pretty much everything I eat and carry while I'm on the bicycle. I also carry this food bag. I just kind of try to consolidate all my food that I'm not using that day in this bag, and I pack it in the back. And then all the food that I am using, I usually put kind of in this front bag or in the top, so it's easily accessible and I can like refuel while I'm riding or fill up my bottles pretty easily. All right, next up, let's talk about bicycle maintenance. So when you're going on a long bike riding trip, it's important to bring some spare parts and tools that you'll need in order to fix pretty much anything on your bike. So starting things off, I have a pump. That way I can pump up my tires in the morning. I can... If I get a flat, I can pump it up after. This is one of these like little mini pumps. It works okay. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but it's nice and compact and small. I'd rather a pain in the ass than having to carry something heavier. Next up, I have a multi-tool. This multi-tool has Allen keys on it. It's got like standard screwdriver bit on it. And then it's got a chain breaker tool, which is pretty useful. A chain breaker tool is useful like in some weird situation you snap your chain. You can break it off at the link. You can insert a master link, which I also have here attached to the tool. I have like an extra chain link here and here. And that way you can save yourself if for some reason your chain snaps. This tool is really useful in that same situation that your chain snaps. It is, let me see if I can focus. Hello. It is these kind of small pair of chain pliers. These also have a spare master link inside. Yeah, they're useful because it's hard to put on and off the master link if you don't have like a pliers tool like this. This one's also handy because it also serves as a tire lever. So if you get a flat tire, you can take your tire off, and then this tool here can help remove your valve core if your valve core stops working and needs to be replaced. So I have a couple little bags here of replacement parts, just a little bit of glue and a couple patches in order to like patch an inner tube, or you can even use these to patch a tire itself. If you get a bigger hole on a tire, you can put that on the inside of your tire to patch it. I have a spare valve core in there, and then I have a spare cleat for my mountain bike pedals. For some reason, if my cleat comes off and I need to like fix it, I have a spare one. And your brake pads wear out faster, so just in case they wear out completely, I have an extra brake pads in there. So I don't bring a wallet on bike packing trips, but I do bring these three things: some cash, a credit card, and a driver's license. Three important things. Don't forget them. Okay, last but not least, in this little waterproof bag, I carry a toothbrush, some toothpaste, and some powdered soap. This is really useful because if you're really disgusting and covered in road grime at the end of the day, you can use this to clean yourself up before you go to sleep.